Hey, what's going on there, everyone? Hope you guys are having a good day today. So in today's video, we're going to be going over interactions. This is a paid premium plugin you can find on Spigot. Essentially what it does is it adds dialogues and chat features to your NPC plugins. So this is great for a role-playing server, or if you just want like a nice Skyblock server to give some cool interactions with NPCs. This is the plugin that does just that. So I'm going ahead and set up an example to show you guys what it does. So it hooks in with like citizens or a ZNPC. I'm using ZNPC for this video. So essentially we can go do interactions help. That will show your main help menu. We'll get to creating and editing conversation a little bit later, and then you can go to the second help menu, and this is the main command we're going to be using is interactions start, and that's going to start your conversation. So we can see the list here. There are 2 included by default, which is really good because you can get examples of how everything is supposed to sync up together with running commands or chat features, etc. So we're going to be using one of the default ones for this. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to essentially do this interaction start, and then we're going to start this specific conversation. So I'm going to be using my ZNPC plugin here, and we're going to be adding an action. So do action, this one is my ID1. We're going to be adding a console command here, and essentially we're going to be running interactions start, and then we're going to be starting this teleporter one, so teleporter, and then we're going to be running it to the player. Alright, so the player that clicked on it. So there we go. So now we can add that, and if we go ahead and right click, there we go, our conversation has started. This also includes a nice boss bar up top here. It says, goes through the different selections. So you can click on this message, or you can just type in chat. So for example, let's say 0. So we'll say 0, and we'll close it out, and the conversation has ended. So there we go. And when you are also interacting with them, if you are using protocol lib plugin, as you see, we cannot move. There's options to actually disable that. So if you wanted to make sure that they're standing, not walking around or like not teleporting anywhere else, that is a good idea to have. So for example, let's go to our PvP zone. So we can go ahead and click it. It gives us a nice message, and then it will warp us to our PvP. And now our conversation has ended, so we can go ahead and PvP. I did make another teleporter here, so we can pretty much do the same thing. It will bring up the boss bar, which is pretty nice, and then it will say, hey, here's the 4 areas that you can go. Let's take me back to spawn, no problem, and there we go, we have warp to spawn. So that is how this really cool interactions plugin does work. So that's just the basic idea of how it all works, which is pretty cool. So we can do interactions, and then we can edit and teleporter. Alright, so if we bring up this very nice interface, so when you open up this menu, you can see, hey, there's 5 different conversations that happen, and then we can see how many dialogues are in each one. So the first one brings up those 4 options. So if we go ahead and open this one, we can left click to edit. Here's the first option where it says take me to spawn, and then that is going to start another conversation. So as you see right there, it says start conversation 3. If we go back, here is our conversation 3. We can see what it says, and it just has dialogue 1, and it says try not to die out there, and then we can see the time and the action. Today's video sponsor is the Songoda Marketplace, and if you are looking for any type of unique or custom plugin for your Minecraft server, there is quite a bit of selection over there, so make sure you guys go check them out using the link down in the description, and you can find some great plugins for your server. Now that you have seen that specific example, we can go ahead and start making our own. So we can go ahead and create, let's create one called YT. Now we can go to interactions, edit, and YT. So in here we can start our new conversations, or you can go into your base configuration. So in here you can actually choose how various ones are started. You can also set up specific radiuses, and then here's some more advanced configurations. So you can set up permission nodes here as well. So it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. So we're going to be doing a very basic one. Essentially, we're going to have the NPC ask if we want a potion effect, and we're just going to say yes or no, and that will just give you a brief overview of how this all works. So let's go ahead and make a new conversation, and we're actually going to be making 3 of them. So the first one's going to be asking, hey, do you want like a specific potion effect? Our second conversation is going to be called when we say no, and then or yes, and then the third one is going to be called when we say no in the chat. Alright, so those are our 3 conversations we're going to be having. So let's go ahead and start the first one, and we can add a new dialogue, and we'll just say, we'll make a new text line here, and we'll say hello, and then we can use the placeholder player, and then we'll go back to our normal text, and we'll say, hello player, would you like a potion effect? Alright, so we'll just say that to the specific player. So I actually want to modify the time, so you can go into the configuration. I'm going to decrease this to about 2, so I think that's a good time. And you can set up some other different types of options if you want to, but I'm just going to leave that as the same. So now we need to set up our player options. So this is going to be what it's going to list in chat, like yes or no. So I went ahead and make 2 player options here, and we'll go ahead and just make a text option, and we'll say yes please. Alright, so once we have inputted our text option, we need to start our new conversation. So this is going to be our conversation 2. So we'll do conversation 2, alright? So that's going to bring up that second one, and then we'll execute a specific action on that conversation. So hopefully that all makes sense. So once we input yes, it's going to go over to the next line there. So then we can go to our option 2. This one is just going to be a no option, and we'll say no thanks. Alright, so now we need to start our third conversation here, and we'll just say conversation 3. So there we go. So now our options have been set. When we click on the specific NPC or whatever you have, it's going to give our text, and then it's going to show these 2 options. And when we say yes, it's going to go to our conversation 2. When we say no, it's going to go to our conversation 3. Alright, so those are specific ones. So now, as you see, we are in conversation 2, and we're going to set up a new dialogue here. We'll just say, hey, here's your regeneration. Alright, so we'll give them regeneration there. And now we can manage our specific action. So we can go ahead and go to this specific link. I will put a picture on the screen just to show you guys what all the different types of actions you can do, which is pretty nice. So you can like run commands, you can teleport, give potion effects, which is the one that we're going to be doing. So there's a very specific syntaxes for each of these to set up. So just make sure you read on the wiki. So for mine, we're going to do give potion effect, and then we need to do a colon, and then need to specify the specific name. So we're typing regeneration. Now we need to use the semicolon, and we need to input the specific duration. So this is, I'm just going to do 360 ticks, so 20 ticks equals 1 second. And then the level, we'll just do like level 5. So we're going to give a pretty OP potion effect here. So there we go, now our action has been added, and you can add multiple actions in here, which is pretty great. So that is our first conversation there, and so I think that's pretty much good. So once we enter this specific dialogue, it's going to end the conversation, which is what we want. Now we need to go to conversation 3 here, and we can do another dialogue, and we'll just say something like, can say like come back later loser or something. So that's what the NPC is going to say to us, and we can manage specific actions, and we can just do a player command, and we'll just do I don't know, we'll just do spawn. Alright, so we'll just go back to spawn, and then when it does finish, it's going to end the conversation, which is what we want. So there we go, there is all our 3 conversations. That's about what we wanted. So we can go ahead and run a verify command. So if we do interactions, verify here, so everything looks good for our YTYML. This is just one I made previously, just to test everything out. But for example, if we go to interactions, we can do start, and then YT, and then we need the player's name. So now our conversation has started. We have our select an option, and we'll say yes please or no thanks. So we can say no thanks for now, and it says come back later loser, and it did teleport us to spawn, and the conversation has ended. So if we go back here, actually we don't really need to go back, but if we run that same command again, it's going to open up here as the delay, and we'll say yes please, and there we go, we have got our regeneration, and that is perfect. So regeneration 5, that is awesome. So I missed that jump, I'm bad. Alright, so anyways guys, you didn't see that from me, you know, we're a pro gamer. But anyways guys, that is a very quick example of how you can set up your interactions for your NPCs and for your server. Let me know if you guys have any questions down below. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.